Hello, good night. Hope all is well. Hope you are able to log in. I just wanted to give some ideas about what I'm doing over a period of time. It's so important that we kind of
Hello,
look at
good
a few
night. Hope all
things.
is well. Hope you are able to log in. I just wanted to give some ideas about what I'm doing over a period of time. It's so important that we kind of
Hello,
look at
good
it.
night. Yes, I realize that I'm getting some feedback here and I've put a pause to that because that's important for us to understand. Just want to make sure that people have been able to log in. This video is private. I wanted to make sure that others are able to view it. So I'm just going to make it public now at this point in time. So it's important that we talk about some AI aspect. So let me just ensure that others are able to access this video because that's so important that everyone is able to access. All right. So I'm going to so it's at this point in time, it is public, should be public, so others can see because it's so important that others are able to sign on when it comes on. So I want to say thanks, and if you're joining me for the first time, I think it's important for everyone to be able to know about what's happening in the world of AI. So much has been happening, and I just wanted to take some time to go through a few things that I've been giving thought to. It's so important that we consider some things that are really happening in our world. And as we consider these things, we realize that there's so much happening and we have to give attention to it. It's so important that when we look at certain things taking place, realize that some people have been somewhat unable to keep up with the transaction as it relates to AI. But I want to see that it stands in a position that you can have so much. You understand you can get so much from it. And of course, if you're able to do that, I want to see that your world will open. So that is why I want to say to you at this point in time, what are you doing? What are you engaging with? Are you sitting back and saying to yourself, I'm watching others, or I just can't get in. So it's important that you look forward and to see where you're going. And over the past several months, and as a matter of fact, I would say years for me, I've been looking at artificial intelligence. As a matter of fact, some people say to me, when did you start? And I want to say I started roughly 6 years ago, or maybe even later if I consider the areas of AI and virtual reality that I was interacting with back in several years ago. So I want to say that I want to talk about building your own chat GPT model with OpenAI. I'm not going to take you on a tutorial, but I want to show you a few things that you can also engage in because it's so important that you get on board now. Now, let's say 4 months ago, ChatGPT, OpenAI came out with what they called a GPT, having your own GPT system. And many individuals started to say, how would OpenAI move towards the future? Now, several things happened. And of course, it was a delay in December, but now it's coming out. And by the time this video is released and next week or so, you'll realize that OpenAI has somewhat gone ahead. I want you to remember for everything as we go through, remember to subscribe to this channel to get more information. I focus on history, AI. I focus on also on educational issues, but I try not to do the politics because I don't want to do politics and that sort of stuff. I'm going to keep far from it. I love politics, but that is for another mission or another day. But I want us to really think about owning a system that you can use to deploy to do something for yourself. As a matter of fact, you can do so many things with these. And if you see what I'm showing now, I have built several chat GPTs. I built one as it relates to the evolution of Jamaican music that talks about the rhythm, the resistance, and so forth within the Jamaican music. And of course, folk traditional to reggae music and dancehall. So I have also done some translation, chat GPT, and of course, I'm also done as it relates some to education. I think we're in a position that you can create your own chat GPT. And it's so easy if you have the time to just sit and say, all right, you want to be creative. I'm not a coder by chance. I don't profess to be a coder. But what I possess is a critical mind to engage. And in engaging, I use my critical thoughts to see if, for instance, let me see what I can do. So I want to say at this point, I want to showcase some ChatGPT items that I've created. I want you to think about how you can create yours. And I want you to really think about the future as it relates to artificial intelligence. There are some doomers out there that it will destroy the world. And of course, that might be possible if it's not used responsibly. So let us look at some of the chat GPTs I've created, and I want to encourage you to create your own. All right, so let's get started as it relates to some that I've created. All right, so let me minimize this so we can see what I'm talking about. And we move into looking at some of the creations that I've done as it relates to that. All right, so let me get some of the creations I've done. Let me minimize this even further to see if I can come up with my list. It's not coming up, so I'll have to go again. I think I might have lost it when I go to my feed, so just bear with me a second. And I think I see it right on my screen. Okay, here it is. Now, here we have me being creative. And let me tell you this is not just the other day creation. I've been creating this for some time, and I've been doing a lot of creation, the evolution of Jamaican music and how it works. You know, the thing about it is I like using these sort of things because it gives me an idea of what I want to do. So if I wanted to create a ChatGPT system, I'll just show you for reference. I'm going to click there. You'd click on create a GPT prompt, and then you'd customize that prompt to allow you to get what you want from the system. Now, roughly, I have roughly 33 and I'm building more. Now, I want us to really explore my Jamaican music, one that I created most recently. And let me take you there. Now, the evolution of Jamaican music, and of course, it gives you a description. So it says, for instance, if you want to know about mental music, it will produce information about mental music. So let us see something here. All right. So it's going to go into the system. It's going to search. It's searching databases. And of course, it's producing information regarding mental music. It gives a history of it. And of course, it gives an overview of what it is like. You know, the rhythm in Mento is characterized by, of course, it goes on, a beat tempo and so forth, and it gives you an overview. So if you are someone abroad or even Jamaican needing to know about music, then you can do this. You can just create your chat GPT, create something, and also engage in it. So I want to see that we are at a position now that it's creative. Now, I want to point out to you one thing. I'm not going to say that this overall has everything correct as it relates to the facts of mental music. So you have a responsibility to ensure that the information produced is verified. So if you're looking to use the information, I would say for every factual information cited there, you need to find something that could back that up. All right, so that is important. I wanted to say that because it's important to understand that AI is not the source for all information. It can give you a guiding position, and then of course you can scaffold that to a greater extent. So that is why we need that sort of information. Now I'm going to check on my phone to see if anyone is there at this point online. I'm streaming from YouTube. Hopefully that's working out. And of course, you know, it's important to see what's happening because that's important, you know. So the bottom line is here we are going through things, and it's so important that we get this thing moving. Now, it's important as we go through, we consider the element of where we're going. We have to understand that these items that I've created are really there to ensure that individuals are able to navigate. And I also have one on Jamaica's patois, of course, translation to English. And if you realize there are so many things that you can achieve here as it relates to getting information. So let's click on Jamaican patois to English. See what it says here. And of course, it gives translation from patois to English. What is Jamaica, the English equivalent to Wagwan? It will tell you, and can you translate? It can also translate. So we are in a good position there. So I've created this chat GPT for people to understand that there are so many things that you can do. So let's get back because I'm showcasing my chat GPTs tonight. I'm an educator by heart. I love education, and I call myself a critical educator as it relates to certain areas. I always like to go in depth in talking about critical issues. And I'm a strong believer of inclusive education, education for all. So while I have that passion, I thought it important and imperative, as a matter of fact, to create a chat GPT for inclusive education. And here I created my GPT really for inclusive education, and I practically made some connections to global policies. I did not stay within the United States or England because I think when we look at inclusion, we can't look from it from a single perspective, but it must be a diverse. I'm not happy with this tenets of inclusive education in the United States, so I would not have focused much of my work here. As a matter of fact, I was educated in England and, of course, Jamaica. Remember, if you feel like subscribing to this channel, please do so. So here it is, explore the impact of cultural diversity on inclusion. This chat GPT gives you an overview, or this GPT gives you an overview of what is required from a national perspective as it relates to inclusive education, and also talks about technology as it relates to inclusive education. We have to understand that when we think about inclusion, we're also thinking about inclusive technology. And of course, I go down to the issue of inclusive organizational culture. Yes, I wrote my book on inclusive organizational culture, and I thought it's so important that this was produced. And here I am. I've produced my own chat GPT as it relates, or GPT, as it relates to inclusive organizational culture, because I think it's needed more than ever. In the United States, we realize that so many institutions are moving away from diversity and inclusion at the expense of course, what and who, and it is sad. So therefore, for organizations wanting to reflect deeper on why inclusion is required for equality and social justice, and to ensure that no one is left behind in the organization, this one is for you. I've created this GPT especially for organizations needing to understand that it's relevant to address the issue of inclusive organizations. Now, if you go further, Jamaican history, I did one on Jamaican history because I think it's so important to highlight the historical concept of Jamaica in the early 1500s to present. And that's it. That's exactly what this tool does. It will give you an overview of what's happening. So as I'm talking, I want you to understand that every GPT here that I've created has a specific reason for its creation. And it serves me, and I hope it will be able to serve the community. I want to share the information. I started several years ago on this journey to share information, and I want to continue. So therefore, that chat GPT for individuals wanting to know about Jamaica's history, and of course, you can do that. Remember again, all information that has been produced by this instrument or this application, my GPT, must be verified. It cannot just be used in isolation and not checked for the facts that has been produced. No, I also have one on so many. I have so many, right? I've also have one on the issue of AI and lawsuit tracker. No, in the next couple months or possibly years, you might see a movement towards having so many AI lawsuits, right? Lawsuits for individuals stating that individuals are taking away their content, their ideas, and so forth. Hence, it's so important to track the information, to understand what's happening, and of course, to ensure that you don't fall trap, or you don't fall into that trap, or that track to be trapped, to ensure that you are kept up to date. To ensure that you're kept up to date, I would recommend that you use this system also. All right. Now, I am also an early childhood education individual. I've taught in the students 5, 6, going up to university level. And be honest, I always remember the importance of parents and their need to understand the technological advancement. Hence, I've created an AI for parenting, and I call it Ally. All right. It's an ally as it relates to supporting parents in moving with the AI trend, because parents need to be updated regarding that. So we also have several more that I have done, Jamaica's Crime Advisor, and I could go on, but most of them are relevant to individuals who might want to know more. So I would say to you, move on, get a hold on some of these chat GPTs that have produced. I'll put some links in the description section for you to have access to them. Now, of course, the importance of course development and education is also part of my agenda. So I've created some course planner assistance, some course evaluation tools using this GPT that will allow individuals to really check on their course quality, check on their objectives, and so forth. So I've not left out any strength. I've not left out any particular strength or areas that I have addressed over the last couple of years as mine, because I think it's so important that I address some of these. And in all, I would say that there is an I would say, item here for everyone who is about education, who is about history, who wants to know more about artificial intelligence. It is so easy to create one, and I'm just going to go and highlight how you would create one. Here, you just click create after you open an account with OpenAI. You would have that on your system. You have to be a paying member to access this. And then you would you'd write a message to the builder, of course, and then you'd say what you want. For example, if you wanted to create an app that could track your exercise routine, you could write that in, you could do certain things. So some of these applications that you create could be personal. And I want you to understand that they could be personal to you. I'm also going to throw in some ideas at the bottom of this description of this video so you can go and start practicing. Why am I doing this video? No, I think it's important for us to understand that we have to move forward as it relates with the use of these applications. They are productivity tools that can enhance your overall perspective with regards to work and allow you to spend time to do other things that will also be productive. I wanted to go back a bit because I think there are some things that I might have missed, you know, with the AI law tracker. Let me just highlight another thing with it. You could search for recent AI lawsuits, and who wants that? Of course, I want that because I want to know how it's going on. If you can see that it's searching through Bing and it's going through a few systems there, it's going through a few news articles there, and it's coming up with information because what I've done is to tie it to relevant sources to ensure that it gives you the most updated sources. Of course, again, you still have to verify that because that's important to understand. Without that, it's going to be problematic. So it goes through, check everything, and it will produce information that you can use. I want to say it's so important that you really think about what you're doing because it's going to be important to get these things out. And here it's coming now. It's going to give me the information that I require, and it's going to pull it out. There it is, recent lawsuits, and talks about OpenAI, Microsoft, and a few others. New York Times talks about, and it gives it a date, 2023 Getty Images, and so forth, furthermore. And it's going to give you an idea of where you can find the item by putting a sort of citation here that you can go to. I'm not going to click on the citation, but what I say to you is don't be fearful. And I use the word fearful very carefully because I don't want to think anyone that I'm around the world think that I'm saying, all right, you know what? You should not have the fear. I have the fear. And I don't want anyone to say, I shouldn't be saying that. But everyone, we all should have a fear as it relates to AI. I just produced a video yesterday regarding how AI can transform itself into another item without it being guided by humans. So that should be something to think about. Remember, my videos are all about critical issues as it relates to artificial intelligence. So I want to say next week promises to be a lot. It promises to be great. It promises to have OpenAI releasing and opening its store so individuals can have access. I want to say that there are so many things that you have to go through. I'm I'm long, long, long way around. I'm on a learning process too, and I'm trying my best to keep up with the technology, and it's going to take some time. But you should not feel offended by saying, you know what, I don't know how to do it. There's so many things around that you can learn from. There's so many people willing to share information. And don't be afraid, never be afraid to ask questions. When I started on this journey, it started from a position where I was saying, what next? I'd reached an area of my career that I questioned what would be my next stage. And I wanted to contribute something to society. So you know what? I decided that I would just start producing information that was of interest to me, but others. And I want to thank the community for always supporting this mission because I think it's so important that we always go up and always remember that it's important to share. Now, as we really consider some elements, we have to really think about the importance of getting things done. It's so important that we consider where the movement of AI is going. And this year promises to be wonderful. It promises to really open our lives, as it relates to AI. And we're going to see a lot of stuff taking place. So it's important for us to hang on. Remember, as I started out by saying, there are so many items that you can create. There's so many items that you can create using GPTs. And I would encourage everyone to get along and start working on that. My mission is to empower individuals, especially individuals from the marginalized society, because too often they do not have access to technology as well as access to really understand these things. I was surprised the other day when I spoke to someone, and it was very recent, and they said they had not heard about OpenAI, ChatGPT, or large language models. And it took me aback because we're already a year in. It means that some individuals are still a year out. And it's moving so quickly. And that's my fear. It's moving so quickly, and individuals are just watching. As well as there are some individuals just coming on and saying, jumping on the hype and have no clue of what they're doing. So let us be mindful as we go through this year. Think about the ethical considerations. Think about what you can create. But most of all, think about how you can enhance individuals and, of course, enhance their ability to learn. You can be a part of the system, but you must understand how to work the system. I'm going to stop now, but here are just a few of the items I've created over the last 3 to 4 months. And you can see a lot of work has been put in, and they're all open to the public, I hope, when the system runs live. I want to say, remember to subscribe to me, and thanks for the support you've given me in the past. Have a good night.